we're here not just because, you need to get your steps in. This is the track where a lot changed for you, right?
Yeah, this is Pine Ridge Secondary School. This is my home track in high school, in Pickering, and literally where we are right now, I've run 200s at the start line.
And your mom, as we walk around here, did you run for her a little bit?
I did. My mother really was my why, my purpose.
Yep.
And a lot of it was, I want to make her proud. I saw my mother cry a lot of times, and as you're 5 and 6 years old, you don't know why mom's crying, but you just know she's crying and you want to make it better. And that really, to me, was what informed me as I would run. Make her proud, make her happy, make her smile.
I know you can still hear her. She's actually sitting over there. Should we go have a little chat with your mom?
Let's go here.
Okay.
Let's talk to her.
I know she's got a lot to say.
Oh yeah.
So as we're sitting here and you're looking around, Kathy,
Yes.
this is home turf for you too, right? Like if we listen carefully, will we still hear your voice shouting?
Yes.
In the hallway with the bingo money?
I can hear myself.
But in a way, did you hear that voice, everywhere when you were competing internationally?
Yeah, like I carried it with me everywhere I went. And one of the things, I don't have a lot of regrets about my career, but one of the things I really miss is the fact that my mom never really saw me, race on the world stage. Local meets, Canadian National Championships, but internationally, no.
So how were you absorbing what was happening in Athens? Did you see her fall?
Yes, I saw it.
Live
saw it.
as it was happening?
Yes. And that was the end for me.
That was the end for you.
Yes.
Felicien gets a great start, so does Hayes, and Felicien goes down. Felicien hit the hurdle and
I think the only thing my team knew what to do in the mix zone, in the belly of that, Greek stadium, was to call my mom.
We love you. Don't cry, buddy. I love her so much.
Because they didn't know how to console me. They didn't know how do you fix this mess?
Did you know what to say?
Yes, I told her, stop crying, wipe your tears,
Yeah, you did.
that she is the gold.
She said, "You are the gold."
I told her, you are the gold. Dry your tears, it happened for a reason.
That's the power of a good mom.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
it is. Yes, it is.
When your daughter told you, I think I'm going to write a book, what did you say?
Well, I was happy for her. And when she asked me if she can put out our story out there, I told her yes, because I really wanted to talk to people, especially women who've been in abuse situation. And I said, if that's the way that my story can go across, so let it be.
Perdita, when you started writing the book, did you know all your mom's stories?
No, I didn't know all her story, and that's actually what made me want to write it. And so as I was writing, I had to go back and talk to people that knew my mother, knew me. I had to really put things together. And when I saw the sum of it, Adrienne, I was like, how did you single-handedly do this? How did you have the will to go on? The things that you faced.
Yes.
She goes into labor with me in the basement where she's living. She's a domestic worker for the Harrys. And no one wants to take her to the hospital.
Well, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
That's page 50.
Yeah.
One of you want to read
I'll read.
what that story is?
I will read. Where does it start? Oh yeah, right here. Catherine had barely looked at her boss. She was too busy breathing through her pain. You know what, Catherine? I just looked in the fridge. We have nothing to eat. Catherine struggled to stuff items into her hospital bag. Could you be a dear and make us some tuna sandwiches before we leave for the hospital? As the eruptions in Catherine's abdomen worsened, she climbed the stairs and made 10 tuna sandwiches. She cut each one into 4 squares and freed them of their crust. Then she wrapped them in damp cloths and placed them in the freezer. No request was a surprise anymore.
Yep.
That is one of the most horrifying things I have heard in a really long time.
When I felt the pain and see the sign that I am going to have her, I went and knocked on the door. And she says to me, how come it's now the baby is coming? She says to me. And then she says that I have to go and make the sandwich for her. So I went and made the sandwiches. And then I was in the pain, and the pain was so painful. And then when I came back from the hospital, I still had to go back and do all the cooking. Next day, I had to go back in the kitchen and so I didn't have no break.
A few days after having this
Yes,
one.
the same day, next day I came from the hospital, next day I had to go in the kitchen because they didn't have nobody to
Help them.
help them.
So Canadians treated you so badly. From the first pages of this book,
Yes.
from the first family who tried to send you back after
Yes.
5
just
months or not
Yes.
even
just a
5
few
months.
months,
Yes.
who belittled you and berated you, and the second family.
Yes.
What on earth did you think of this country?
You know something? I hung in there because I wanted a better life for my children and for myself.
Yeah.
And I love this country. This country helped me. This country
After all
helped
that.
me. After all that.
And so, in telling the truth, right, for both of you, what door does that open? What does that represent for you?
So to tell the book the way that I did, I had to, because my mother has changed the trajectory of my life in a astounding way, right? I literally have the stats to prove it and the accolades to prove it. What this woman has done for me, my being, my daughter's being, my daughter Nova, who's 2, going to a women's shelter, never will happen. Her childhood is different than mine. She did that. It stopped the cycle, right? So we were always under that. Like, what mood is dad in today? Like, what is dad gonna be mad about? Did we piss him off? But once my mom got to the shelter, and then she got her own place, well, she doesn't have to answer to him suddenly.
Oh, yeah.
She's her own boss. And that was the first time my mother had traction in this country. So for us, the Denise House, when we think about how it changed my mother's life and our life as young women and her daughters and my one brother, that's when the cycle ended. Because he could no longer control her. And that's when the true climb for us really began.
Yes.
Listening to you talk about the shelter, I was struck by what an important place that was for both of you.
Yes.
And in many ways, what a loving place that shelter was. What did it mean for you? What did it give you?
It means a lot. It gave me life. It gave me hope. It gave me a place where my children could rest their head and find myself again as a woman. I don't want to cry again.
You can. You can. You let it out, Mama. You're helping someone
That
who
place-
needs to hear it.
In his house is the place that opened the door. Brought me to Pickering, and I sit down. I said, no money, no furniture, just a broom
No beds for us to
and
sleep
2
on.
garbage bags. I am going to do something for myself. I'm going to show my children. Their mother fall, but she can come back up. And thank God I had Perdita. She was the one that for me, leaning on a 6-year-old child's shoulder, crying. And she come in, Mommy, don't cry. Don't cry, Mommy, don't cry, Mommy. She come in. I don't know what I would do if I didn't have that child in my corner. And I had to be strong for her. I had to be strong for her. No matter what I went through, I had to be strong for her. I had to. Because I didn't let what I went through to throw me down. I didn't let it throw me down. I didn't.
Well, your daughter has your back. You know that.
Yes, and I got her back too.
You do. You always have.
I'm
Always
back.
have. We love you, Mama. You know that.
I know, I'm well loved by all of them.
You're an incredible woman.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I really enjoy
Yeah,
it, you know.
thank you.
I really did.